Good day everyone, my name is Nkosi and I really want to share with you something of what I believe God is saying to us just regarding our calling. In Isaiah 43 verse 5 to 7 it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your offspring from the east, and from the west I will gather you. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, do not withhold. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory, whom I formed and made." And that first part says, do not be afraid. And I just read it a sense that in the season we are in, is that we need not be afraid. But I really believe, like it says, that God is raising people from all corners of the earth, that God is raising men and women in this season from all walks of life, from all corners of the earth, to stand up and rise up for Him. And you may not feel like that warrior or that person who's rising up, but I want to encourage you that God has called you and is calling you in the season. In the end, it says in verse 7, "Everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory, whom I have formed and made." And what really encouraged me is that there are things that God has put inside of us that in the right time, in the right season, is going to call for those things to give Him glory. We may not know what those things are, but at the right time, God is going to call out those things. A while back, we had friends buy us a hamper of some sort with all sorts of things inside for the family. It was chocolates and beverages and toys and all sorts of things. And I received this hamper, took it home, and the next day I had to go to work. My family were left behind, opened this hamper, ravaged it and took out everything they wanted and all of these, and I never really got to see what was inside the hamper. And 2 weeks later we had the friend who had given us the hamper visit us, and while she was coming in, I offered her tea and coffee. She said, "No, I want the special kind of tea." And I said, "Look, we don't buy, we just buy Rooibos and normal tea, we don't have that tea." And she said, "Carl, I know you have that tea." And I said, "We don't." She said, "I do." And she said, "Just go check in your cabinet, I know you have that tea." So I went and I checked, and behold, the tea was there. And what I share the story because I didn't know that she had bought this tea. More importantly, and this is not her purpose, but I didn't know that she had bought this tea ultimately for her to enjoy. That's not her purpose. I'm just saying that as a joke. But what I really want to, I suppose, encourage you is that there are things God has put inside of us that at the right time God will call out. And I believe that's the season we're in now. God is raising men and women of God. And you may not see yourself as that person, but I want to encourage you that the goal is not to find yourself in the season or to find your purpose, as we're so good at expressing. But the goal is to find the Father, to connect with Jesus, because He's put those things inside of you. And it's in this season that He is going to call out what's inside of you. In the same way, God said to Abraham, "You are a father because I've made you to be a father." Even though the situations around didn't say to you that you could be a father, but God has put something inside of you for the season. As you draw close to Him, He's going to call out that thing. And like my friend who bought us that special tea, it was for us to enjoy, but ultimately it was also for her to enjoy. When God calls out those things, it's not for us, but it's actually to give Him glory. In Romans 8, I'm going to read from 28, it says, "And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. For God knew His people in advance and chose them to be like His Son, so that His Son would be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters." Verse 30 says, "And having chosen them, He called them to come to Him. And having called them, He gave them right standing with Himself. And having given them right standing, He gave them His glory." And so the first thing God does is God sees the future, but He calls us to Himself first. In the season, God has called us to Himself first. And then He gives us His glory, not for our enjoyment, but for His pleasure. Trust that blesses you. I want to encourage you to rise up in this season, but draw to Him.